What if your computer could do your work for you automatically? From filling data in seconds to running tasks with a single click, this is where technology gets smarter. In this lesson, we will step into high-level technology concepts where we explore tools like automation, and in this particular instance, we'll be looking at macros and VBA, cloud computing, and smart features like AutoFill and AutoComplete, which can be configured in Microsoft Word that boost productivity. By the end, you will understand how technology can work for you, not just with you. How can you use these tools to save time and work smarter every day? So I'm going to share my slide in a second as we go through these concepts, and I'll do the best I can to demonstrate for you to see how it works and link it to the Microsoft Office Specialist certification from Certiport. So I just want to encourage you, building skill set in ICT takes time. Do not rush it, one concept at a time. So we are now on lesson 1.3 where we define higher level technology concepts. So let's get into it. And this is level 2. What are automated methods? So if you're automating certain things, then you don't need to be manually doing it every now and then. That's essentially the default understanding of that, okay? So automated methods are ways computers do tasks without humans doing everything, okay? Then we use scripts and macros to follow instructions. So when you type your password and the computer logs you in, that's automation, okay? Then we have another concept, which is a program, a set of instructions written by programmers. So if you want to become a programmer, you will learn how to do this. And it is written in programming languages like Python or Java. So we do have the IT specialist certification track, which can take you through these, programs where you learn up to the standard required by the global community. And you just click or type and the program does all the hard work behind the scenes. So example is when you click play on a game, the program runs lots of code to start it, okay? And thumbs up to all the programmers making life easier for all of us. Then what then is a macro? So it's just a shortcut that repeats a task for you. So you record steps once, then the computer can do them again and again with one click. And that is what macros are for. So a macro can more or less format your tables, can copy data, and can update charts. And we will see that in a second, okay? And VBA is the power behind macros, okay? So macros use a language called VBA, which is Visual Basic for applications. So within the Microsoft Office suite, you can, use that. And VBA helps programs like Word and Excel to work together, okay? It saves time by making the computer do repeated jobs automatically. So one button can update all your Excel charts in seconds. So I'm going to teach you how to record that and see how best we can get through this. And see my Excel workbook. I'm going to zoom in a bit using the zoom slider. And mind you, I have a series on Excel, which helps you understand the groups, the tabs, dialog box launches, and it's on my channel. You can check it out. So assuming I just want to type maybe first name, last name, that's it. And maybe let's say cost of items. So first name is Fifi, last name is Oben, maybe 30. The next one is Ojo Otio. Cost is, let's say, 50. So assuming I want to maybe format the headings with a particular style, font type, I can record this if that is what I usually do. So I go to view, then within the macros group, we've got this. So we have view macros, record macro. So I'll hit on record macro, then I will need to give it a name, maybe changing formatting font like that. Then I can add a keyboard shortcut. So if I press Ctrl and the number 1, it should do that for me. But before it can do that, I'll need to record the steps. That's automation. So I'll hit on OK. Okay, sorry, the shortcut key must be a letter, not a 1. I beg your pardon. So which letter should I use? Let's say L. Control Shift plus L. So that's what I want to do. Click on OK. Now you could see from here that it is ready to record. So a macro is currently recording. So click to stop recording. So this is what I want to do. I'll go to my home tab and I want to change the font style to maybe something like, let me pick this. So I've changed the font style. So that's the first step. And the second step is to increase the font size to about 14, then make it bold, and probably change the font color to about, let's say, orange. This is what I want to do. So anytime I'm formatting a whiteboard, this is what I want to achieve. So once I'm done, I'll go back to view and I come to macros, then I'll say stop recording. Now it's stopped. And you can save your script in an Office script, but I don't want to do that now. So let's say discard the script. So I'm done recording. And let's say I open a new sheet. I type a bunch of, headings. So let me increase the font size. People, immigration status, like that. So if I want to apply the steps, I don't need to go over clicking on home, looking for the font style. Probably I've forgotten the name and trying to change the font color. So what I do is I'll go to view. I'll say, okay, macros. Then I'll say view macros. Now formatting font is here. Then what I need to do is to run it. So once I run it, it's applied. So that's automation for you. I can open another sheet, PV, or then we use Control Shift L. So Control Shift L on the keyboard, it's applied. So that's the beauty of automation. That's one way, to go around it. Yes. So pretty much, on point. So check out my series and you should learn how to master these tools for your work. So let's get back into the presentation. I'm going to go back and then go back to my presentation. That's it. All done. Then we now look at another critical concept known as cloud computing. And what is that? So cloud computing means using the internet to store files and run programs. So most of these presentations is in my Office 365 account in my OneDrive. So if I get another computer anywhere, I can record my lessons. So that's the beauty of it. Then instead of saving things on your own computer, you save time. You save them in the cloud, I beg your pardon. So think of the cloud as a big online storage space you can reach from anywhere. And how does it work? So your computer, which is the client, for something like opening a file or using an app, and you are familiar with this concept. So if you didn't know, the Google account, the Google Drive, they're all in the cloud. So a server, which is a powerful computer somewhere else, sends it back through the internet to your device. So when you open your Gmail or Google Drive, the program runs on Google's servers, not your laptop. Okay, it's in your browser. So real life cloud companies, which I have done for some companies here in the UK, creating a SharePoint site for collaboration. Everything is there, documents, what have you. So big companies run cloud services like Google Drive, Gmail, Microsoft's this for OneDrive, Microsoft 365, Amazon Web Services. So you need to understand the cloud because that's where we're all moving to. So they help millions of people work, learn, and play online every day. Okay, so you've got three types of cloud services, and it's very important you understand them. So you have software as a service. So you don't want to run it on your system. So you use it online. Once you have an active internet connection, you'll be able to use it. So example will include a Gmail, Microsoft 365, the Zoom. Okay. Then we have infrastructure as a service, which looks at you renting virtual computers and what storage space. So you can upgrade your memory, you can upgrade your storage space, you can upgrade even your processor and its speed. So you just rent it, you use it, you get it done, then you're out. So Amazon Web Services. Then we have platform as a service. That is what programmers use. So develop, build, and test apps online so that they don't need to, invest in all these equipment and run it locally from their respective computers. So these are the cloud services you need to understand for your work and also for the certification exam. So example will be Google App Engine. So what are some of the benefits of cloud computing? So you access it anywhere, use your files on any device with internet, and it saves money. No need to buy expensive computers. So you rent it, you pay subscription based, and it's always updated. So you get the newest version automatically. And more space means you add more storage when you need it. That's it. If you don't need it, you don't buy it. Then it is saved and backed up. So files are protected and regularly what's saved. So you can track various versions of your files. And why does it matter? Cloud computing helps schools, businesses, and people to work together from different places. So this is where working from home has now become the norm. Okay, and you keep their data safe, you save time and money. So in short, what I'm essentially saying is cloud computing makes life easier by moving our work and data online. Then we've got another concept, which is autocomplete. So anytime maybe you're typing something in Word or even in your Gmail application, you're composing a message. Once you start typing, then it suggests you hit the tab, then it's completed. So it helps you finish what you are typing, and as you type, the computer guesses the next word or phrase, and you can even see that on our WhatsApp exchanges. Okay, so it suggested words appear in gray or a light color. So if that is something you want, you just tap on it and it finishes for you. So you can press the tab or space to accept the suggestion, and you know this stuff. So I'm just highlighting it. So if you didn't know that it's time autocomplete, now you know. So example is you type how are why, it suggests how are you, bam, then you get it done. Then we have AutoFill, which helps you quickly fill out online forms. So you get to, it can remember your name, your address, your email, and even card details if you choose. So when you save your card details, at least it's stays there in the browser's, memory. Then but you need to be careful storing personal or card details in your browser. And it can be risky if someone else uses your computer. So if you're the only person using the computer, go ahead. But if you are sharing, then it's not advisable. And how do you find these settings? So in Google Chrome, you go to settings, then we've got auto fill to manage saved info. Then in Microsoft Edge, you go to settings, privacy and services, then advanced settings. So you can choose what information your computer remembers. Okay, so let's see if I can share my screen to demonstrate for Google Chrome. So you click on the three dots. Now you scroll all the way down, you go to settings. Okay, so under here we have autofill and password. So password manager, payment methods, address, and more. So you can explore these options to understand the autofill feature. That's it. Try that with Microsoft Edge. Okay, so that's the beauty of the IC3 journey. Then we have autocorrect, which fixes spelling mistakes automatically. So it guesses what word you meant to type, found in programs like Microsoft Word, Excel, and on phones. So you type THE, it changes to one there. And you can customize some of these in Microsoft Word, where you go to your file, you go to the account options. Once you get there, we have proofing and reading, then there is autocorrect. So I've got a video on my YouTube channel explaining that, so you can check that out, how to customize this and even add your own, shorthand. Okay, so maybe happy birthday and what long life HPP something something. You can customize that in Microsoft Word. Okay, so autocorrect feature. So why do we use autocorrect? It helps you spell correctly. It saves time when typing and makes your work look neat and what professional. Then autocorrect isn't always right, so you need to always double check your words. Okay, so to sum it up, autocomplete helps finish your sentences. AutoFill complete online forms for you, and autocorrect fixes spelling errors. And all three tools make typing faster, easier, and smarter. So let's look at this case study. So another is a set of actions, such as a sequence of keystrokes and mouse clicks that can be recorded and played back by executed using a single command, right? So that's a program, a macro, a script, and a code block. So what we just demonstrated was a macro, but I never got to show you that of VBA. So the ones that we recorded, we can step into it and see what it looks like in the form of VBA. Okay, so when I go to macros, I'll see view macros. Then I want to, let's say, edit it. So if I want to edit my macros, let me stop sharing and share that particular screen for you to see. So my Visual Basics, so this is what we did, okay? So keyboard shortcut Control+Shift. So when selection.font.name, the size, strike through, superscript is false, subscript is false, shadow is false, underline, in all of that, and ends with, so selection font.size is 12, font size is 14, selection font.bold is true, selection.font end with. So that's a whole course of it on, which maybe I'll think about teaching you how to, write some of these codes. So that's pretty much it. And if you've got questions, you can just leave it in the comment section. Then I'll be more than happy to help you with it. Like I always say, if you want to grab a copy of your digital literacy certification guide, head over to fitgh.net/shop. And if you want to read more about the Certiport certification exam, which is the IC3 Global Standard 6, go to certiport.com/IC3. And if this lesson has been informative and educative, please give us a thumbs up, share with a friend. And if you need training, one-on-one coaching, get in touch with me. We can schedule to meet, discuss, and help you build real-world skills for jobs. See you in a next lesson, and God bless.